So what do regular people do when they get, messages on WhatsApp, which on the face of it, you look at it and you're like, is that necessarily true? I mean, how do you, as an individual, stop the spread of fake news? Is it even possible?
Well, exactly. It's for every individual country to decide the right legislative and regulatory approach. But what I would say is there does have to be an element of user responsibility alongside publisher and platform responsibility. And that's what media literacy is all about. It's like I often talk about, a message about take care before you share. Before you send content onto multiple, often hundreds of people in a broadcast list, particularly where those are like friends and family broadcasting lists, users do have to also take some responsibility to think, do I know that this content is true? And if I'm not completely sure, what would the negative downsides be of me just sort of sharing it thoughtlessly? And I think to encourage that kind of behavior is one of the really key roles about media literacy and education.
So what do I tell my uncle who says there's going to be a nano chip in the new currency note that's coming out? Do I tell him, you're lying, you're a purveyor of fake news?
It's a real tough one, isn't it? Because obviously, like all journalists, we have quite a strong attachment to freedom of speech and freedom of publication and expression issues. And I think you've seen a big difference in responses in many countries. So there are some countries like Singapore and Germany, for example, which are quite far down the road of legislating around fake news. There are other countries, I think the UK would be one of these, where there's quite a sort of traditionally been a laissez-faire approach around strong regulation but not statutory regulation. Independent regulation, an independent regulator, but not necessarily legislation. And I think it's for every different country to find its right solution.